Welcome to Maritime Pakistan, your gateway to the fascinating world of oceans and the opportunities they present to every one of us. Our goal is to explore the shared heritage of the seas and oceans to achieve global prosperity. Today, we're exploring the higher education opportunities available at the Dalian Maritime University, or DMU, in Dalian City, Liaoning Province, China. If you've ever thought about getting a world-class education in the global shipping and logistics industry, you're gonna want to stick around. We're about to break down everything you need to know. All right, so here's what we've got on the docket. First, we'll get to know DMU and just how big its global footprint really is. Then, we'll dive into the specific programs they offer in English, which is huge. After that, we hit the big one, scholarships. I'm talking about how you might be able to get this entire thing fully funded. From there, we'll give you a step-by-step roadmap for applying, and then we'll wrap up by looking at what life is really like on campus and what it takes to succeed there.
So, let's start with the basics. What exactly is Dalian Maritime University? You should think of it less as just another school and more like a powerhouse. It's one of China's key national universities, and its entire mission is to create the leaders who run the global maritime industry.
And just look at this number for a second. Over 100,000. That's how many senior professionals DMU has graduated. We're not just talking about entry-level jobs here. We're talking about the ship captains, the chief engineers, the logistics managers, who are, as we speak, directing the flow of goods all over the planet. So you see, DMU's alumni aren't just in the industry. In so many ways, they are the industry.
And this reputation is built on a really solid foundation. Being a national key university means it gets serious government backing. Their curriculum is lined up with the standards of the International Maritime Organization. That's the UN agency that makes the rules for global shipping. What that means for you is that a degree from DMU is basically a passport to a career anywhere in the world. Plus, with partnerships with over 129 other universities, this place is a true global hub for everything maritime.
Okay, so what can you actually study there? This is a really important point for anyone watching from outside China. DMU offers some very impressive graduate programs that are taught completely in English. This is a game changer, because it just removes that language barrier and opens the door to some seriously specialized fields.
And check out what's on offer. These aren't just generic degrees. We're talking about master's programs in things like logistics and marine traffic engineering, or even specialized maritime law. And for those of you aiming for a doctorate, there's cutting-edge work in environmental science. And take a look at those tuition fees. For a university of this rank, those are incredibly competitive on the world stage. Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question for pretty much any student looking to study abroad.
Well, at DMU, the answer is actually pretty amazing. The university is a direct pipeline to some of the most generous and comprehensive scholarship packages you are going to find, period. And when I say comprehensive, I really mean it. The Chinese government scholarship, you'll see it called CSC, is the absolute gold standard. It's not just a tuition waiver. No. It covers your housing on campus, it covers your medical insurance, and it gives you a monthly stipend for your living expenses. That's 3,000 RMB for master's students and 3,500 for PhD students, deposited into your account every single month. Let's just put that in perspective for a second. If you were paying your own way, you'd be looking at somewhere around 70 to 80,000 RMB per year for everything. With the CSC scholarship, that massive cost just evaporates. It becomes zero. This completely changes the equation, right? It means you can focus 100% on your studies and your research, not on trying to figure out how to pay the bills.
And here's the part that's just incredible, especially for PhD students. Your annual stipend adds up to 42,000 RMB. The absolute maximum tuition fee for a PhD program is 38,000. You see where I'm going with this? You're actually earning more from the stipend than you owe in tuition. So it stops being just a scholarship and basically becomes a research fellowship. They are literally paying you to be there and do your research.
So you're probably thinking, okay, I'm in. How do I get one of these spots? Well, the application process is very structured, but it's totally doable if you know the steps ahead of time. Now, the most important thing to wrap your head around is this. It's a dual application process. That means you have to apply in two different places. First, you apply for the CSC scholarship itself online. Second, you apply directly to DMU through their own online portal. And here's a major pro tip. Before you do any of that, reach out to a professor in your field at DMU and try to get a preliminary acceptance letter. And this checklist here really gives you a sense of the prep work involved. This is not something you can just throw together over a weekend. You've got your standard stuff like transcripts and recommendation letters, but you'll also need official documents like a no criminal record certificate and a very specific health report form. The deadline is usually around late April, which means you need to get the ball rolling on gathering all this stuff months in advance.
Which brings us back to that acceptance letter I mentioned. This is such a critical piece of the puzzle. Even if a checklist says it's not mandatory, trust me, you want to get one. Securing a letter from a professor before you officially apply gives you a massive advantage. It signals to the admissions committee that there's already someone at the university who wants you there, who's invested in your research. It's the ultimate inside track.
All right, so let's fast forward. You've applied, you've been accepted. What is life actually like at DMU? Well, the university's culture is a mirror of the maritime industry itself. It is disciplined, it is rigorous, and it is definitely demanding. The standards here are really high, and the rules, they are not suggestions. Let's be clear. For example, if you don't show up to register in person on time, you're expelled. If you miss more than a third of your classes in any course, you automatically fail that course. No questions asked, no exam. And for a PhD student, if you fail a core course and then fail the retake, you're expelled. Now, this isn't about being harsh for the sake of it. It's about training people for an industry where following rules and procedures can be a matter of life and death. So you can see this high-stakes environment isn't for everyone, and that's by design. It's built to create leaders who can handle the enormous pressures and responsibilities of the global maritime world. So the real question is, are you ready to meet that challenge? Because the rewards, a truly world-class education, incredible financial support, and a direct path to a global career are absolutely worth it. We hope that you liked today's video. Please share your comments and subscribe to explore other similar opportunities. Post your questions in the comments section for future videos.